Welcome to part 54 of Let's Go See John. Part 54 of Let's Go See John, um, November the 23rd, 2024, by man's calendar. Let's get on back into this word, shall we? This is John 11. And I want to recap verse 24 and go on from there. Martha says to him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Well, we're in the last days now. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. And he that believes in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever lives and believes in me shall never die. Believe you this? She says to him, Yea, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. And when she had so said, she went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly saying, The Master is come and calls for you. As soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came to him. Now Jesus was not yet come into the town, but was in that place where Martha met him. The Jews then which were with her in the house and comforted her when they saw Mary, that she rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, She goes to the grave to weep there. Then when Mary was come where Jesus was, and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother had not died. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in his spirit, and was troubled. He groaned in his spirit, and was troubled, and said, Where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. And Jesus wept. Then said the Jews, Behold how he loved him. See, Jesus was weeping for Lazarus. But it was more than just that. He wasn't weeping because Lazarus died. He was weeping because of the pain he had caused to Mary and Martha in the loss of their brother, because he did not heal him and did not stay the hand of death from him. But it was for his purpose. It was for the glory of God that it had to be this way. When you stop thinking about the death that has occurred around you, and when in the way that you do, and grieving it so much, when you start thinking that it had a greater purpose and it was for the Lord's glory, because it all is, everything is for the glory of God in some way. But when you begin to realize that, you do not break in the manner in which you used to. When you realize that every death has a purpose for the Lord, the pain is not like it used to be. If they are with the Lord, we will see them again. So why weepest thou? Then said the Jews, behold, how he loved him. That's verse 36 of 11. John 11:37. And some of them said, could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? And Jesus, therefore, again groaning in himself, comes to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone laid upon it. Jesus said, take away the stone. Now you need to understand something. When they roll these stones past the door, they seal them with a wax like to help hold that stone and keep it there, to make sure no one disturbs the graves. Because if the seal is broken, then they know someone has disturbed the graves. Jesus said, take away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, says to him, Lord, by this time he stinks, for he has been dead 4 days. And Jesus said to her, said I not to you, that if you would believe, you should see the glory of God? This is when you know you have people of faith. When things like this happen, when things like this can happen, that's when you know you believe in Jesus, not pharmakia, not things of this life. When you can do things like this, like he did, without other things. What pharmakia did Jesus use to raise Lazarus from the dead? None. Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me, and I knew that you hear me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that you have sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave cloth, and his face was bound about with a napkin. And Jesus said to him, Loose him and let him go. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees. They went to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, "What do we? For this man does many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation." And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said to them, "You know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not." They decided right then and there they were going to kill him. That was the Pharisees, the Jews. That was not the Romans. That was his own people who sought to kill him, saying that it was better for the one to perish than the whole nation. To protect Israel as a nation, what they had built up, they wanted him to die because they feared the Romans. They feared the Romans. The Pharisees did, that they were going to take away their nation. Now, how could they take away a nation that wasn't even a nation until 1948? That was long after the Bible had been written. And yet here these Jews were saying that they were going to take away their nation. How long has Satan lied to you about Israel? And what timeline are you basing things on? When will you come out of these deceptions and see the truth? Satan steals from you your inheritance, and you give it like Esau for lentils or good times or what have you. You squander away who you really are, following after the things that you lust and desire after. Verse 51. And this spoke he not of himself. Now this is talking about Caiaphas. Being himself high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation. How about that? And not for that nation only, but that he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. That's talking about us Gentiles. He died to bring us home. And not just to save that nation, but to save them all. To heal them all of See you in the next part.